NERF, for centuries at the pinnacle of human weapons technology. Accurate, deadly, compact, fast, colorful, but with one major drawback: no zoom. Thus, we present to you the advanced magnifying illuminated reticle half-naked fully adjustable NERF combat optical sight of LEGO, or the Amirhan Fan Kosol scope in short. Now for some range tests. Hi guys, so this is the scope I made. In this video I'll be going slightly technical, so if you want to leave, you may, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video up till now. So this is the scope, and the components are, that's the objective lens. It has 10 centimeter focal length. That is the inverting prisms, I think they're called roof prisms, which I ripped off from really cheap binoculars, which are about $3, $4 binoculars. That is the reticle. You can see the T that was in the scope. I scratched it onto a piece of glass, and that's the eyepiece through which you look. So naturally, one of the first questions is going to be, how accurate is it? And it is pretty accurate, and I can show you how much parallax it has. As you can see, it doesn't really have much parallax at 5 meters, which is the range that you're going to be using for a NERF blaster, and the image doesn't really move with the reticle as you move your head, which is really nice. So basically you can keep your head anywhere you want, and you can be sure that the dart is going to hit what you are aiming at. This scope can be zeroed in, so you zero it in by sliding the objective lens along this axle for windage, and along this axle, which maybe you cannot see, this one, which is black against a black background. You can move it up and down to adjust for elevation. It has also got this LED light, which is used to illuminate the reticle, and this LED I ripped off from a really cheap prayer light, which is so cheap that they're actually dropping 3 volts across the LED, across an LED that requires only 1.7 volts roundabouts to function. So it'll likely as not burn off after 5 days. The main problems with this scope are that this lens is cheap, this lens is cheap, this glass is cheap and slightly scratched, and this prism is too small. The prism being too small is actually one of the biggest problems I faced, because it has an aperture of about 8 millimeters, which is a big problem. So this is the ray diagram for the telescope. The telescope actually going like this in the ray diagram, and that's the incident light coming in, and that is the eyepiece. That's the image plane with the reticle. So the T is somewhere here, right? Now, as you can see, the 8 millimeter aperture really limits the light coming in from the objective, and so for this point, the whole objective lens would have contributed to light falling on this point and then also going on to the eyepiece, but since the aperture is limited on the prisms, I'm being able to use only half of the objective, which is bad because less light means you have a less bright image. And of course I could move this back to solve some of those problems, but then that would mean that only a fraction of my eyepiece would actually show the image, which is again not a good thing. And I could also move it forward to so that more of the eyepiece shows the image, but then again it would have limited the incoming light even more, so that is a big problem. This should be really huge. This should be this big, at least twice the size that it is right now. Another problem with moving it forward was that the exit pupil becomes small, so this distance becomes small. Like for the middle ray, this distance becomes small. So if these are rays coming out of the scope, these ones, for them this is all light and this is darkness, so your eye needs to be anywhere in this area to be able to see the image, and a smaller exit pupil means that you have to play your eye more exactly in the center, which is again a bad thing because then it takes time to look through the scope and find the image. So that is another problem with moving this forward, is that the exit pupil gets smaller. Now the thing with the LED is that it is sitting on top of the glass, and that's the glass, the sides of the glass. So any light that the LED produces that goes inside the glass gets totally internally reflected, unless there is a ridge which I created when I scratched the glass to create that T reticle, and when it finds the ridge it bounces out. So that is a really good method to get the light to ignore any dust that might be on the surface. So total internal reflection ensures that the dust doesn't light up and only the ridges light up. But whatever the problems, I'm really happy with the scope. It gives a clear-ish image and it is really fun to use, and I've been launching that single dart that is accurate like all day and been hitting things also, so that is good. And that was my scope. I'll probably make another one with poro prisms, which I also have a pair of. So till next time, bye.